Hello, welcome back to the ministry. And I'm talking about today the enemy has a desire to steal your blessings. We are in a season right now that we are on the cusp. When I say the cusp, I mean we right there of the manifestation of our blessings being made manifest in our lives. It's like right there. Right there. I'm reminded of a Brandy song. The corner of first and love. And for some of us, that's the blessing that we're that close to. And in it, she sings, it's right there. It's right there. We right there. But you have to stay under God's covering. I was listening to a word the other day. It was a word that I heard before. And the person mentioned this, that the enemy had been trying to get them to become discontented with where they were at that particular point in time. And because of that, to come outside in rebellion to what God had told them to do. Because the enemy was desiring that if they came out when they were supposed to stay in, the enemy would then therefore have access at an access point that the enemy wasn't supposed to have access to. You have to be very careful and cautious when you're in a season of the point of manifestation of your blessings. Why? Because you are that close to seeing what God said. And there's also enemies that have been lurking and watching to see if God was going to manifest it in your life. Why? So they could attempt to snatch it. I saw a word by Heart of Ruth the other day that popped up. I don't know whether this is an old word or is a recent one, where she was talking about an individual coming to a person and desiring to manipulate them into giving them their blessing by saying, oh, this is your package, but let me see it. And the person said, oh, okay. By the way that the person phrased it, they came at them very innocently. And the person handed the package to them and they ran off and never brought it back. These are the tricks that the enemy is trying to do by getting you to come into agreement with releasing your promises. Remember the word that I released recently talking about, what was it? Becoming comfortable. It's a specific word I'm looking for. Not acquiescing to, but it's like accepting the very thing that looks close enough but isn't the real thing. So even the enemy wants you, even if you get it, he wants to take it away because he doesn't think that you deserve it. So how did this come about? We were at the end of our seasons. We are at the end. That's it. The period. God keep bringing a video up in front of my face on my own feed on YouTube saying finale. I was like, okay. Keep coming up. I was like, okay. Finale. I was like, all right. In this commercial, it was for this TV show called Fire Country. In it, I'm sitting there watching this commercial like, God, why you keep drawing my attention to this particular commercial? Because it was for a particular episode. They had advertising it all week. And I was like, wait. Because they started to talk about something called a fire tornado. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, there's something to this. Fire tornado. Fire tornado. Hold up. Wait a minute. God said in his word, what? When the children of Israel were out in the desert, what did he do? During the day, he led them with a pillar of smoke, but at night he led them with what? A cloud of fire. What's a cloud of fire? A fire tornado. I just about fell out my chair. I said, what? I had never heard of such a thing. I'd never heard it referred to as that, but that makes perfect sense. God is preparing to do a sudden move. And for some of you, he's been telling you what he was about to do. You've got confirmation after confirmation. You even got double confirmations. God kept putting confirmations in front of your face. He even put the confirmation in front of your face with the number 321. One day there, I lie to you not, I was sitting there on my phone. I went from one screen. I saw that it said 654 was the time. And when I went to the other screen on the phone, the amount of gigs that I had used was 321. I said, God is counting down. This stuff is about to happen. He been putting numbers in front of you. He been putting names in front of you. He been putting places in front of you. He been telling you all kinds of stuff to confirm and confirm and confirm and confirm and confirm. Over and over and over and over. And you've been sitting up there like, but I know you saying that, but I ain't seeing. I was just in worship with my girl Sunray this morning. And she was making the point of stop letting fear be the idol in your life. You sitting up there saying you want certain things, but in all actuality, you're afraid that if you receive it, you're going to have to actually take responsibility for that thing. Whatever that thing is. And that responsibility has you sitting in a level of false evidence that appears real because you've allowed that to become the chain that holds your foot in place. Using the guise, oh, well, God's going to perform the miracle and I just had to wait for it. Some of you, yeah, because of the type of miracle God's about to perform, you're going to have to wait for that thing. You can't do nothing to make that thing come forth any faster aside from standing in the gap for that thing. But for some of you, you already done did that. God's just saying, can you wait a minute? I'm gonna bring it to you. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I'm working on it. It needs to be perfect. And he even giving you confirmations of the 321s and all that kind of stuff. Oh, how perfect this sucker gonna be. You know. Because God already done told you. But for some of you, God told you got to put your feet to the plow to do some stuff. In order to prepare for the opportunity in which you prayed for. Now, for some of you, you are supposed to sit still because you already did the work. But for some of you, you ain't done nothing yet. And sit up there, God's going to just do it. I got faith in Jesus. Faith. But for those of us that have been sitting over here doing the work while also praying, you've been doing the work. You've been standing in the gap. You've been preparing how God told you to prepare. If God gave you an instruction, you did it. If God gave you instruction, you wrote it down and then you did what he told you to do. And then you was like, God, what else you need me to do? Is there anything else that I need to do? Is there something else that I need to do? Is it something I need to prepare for? Is there something I need to do? Do I need to take this here and do I need to prepare that there? What else do I need to do? What needs to be done in order to prepare me to be able to be prepared for what it is that I prayed for? What's blocking me? And how do I get that blockade removed? God, you moving the mountains? What is it that I need to get done in order for that mountain to be moved? I went through a word already. If you haven't seen it, it's either coming up soon or it's coming up or it's already passed. God's eliminating that counterfeit problem. Okay? Including every other counterfeit opportunity, every other counterfeit, whatever it is. He's eliminating that problem. But I need to express to you, what does a counterfeit do? If you take a counterfeit bill and they set that counterfeit bill on fire, it burns red. Why? Because the ink on it ain't right. They will take a pen and mark that bill to check to see that the special ink in that marker, the special ink in that marker is going to hit that pen, that bill, and show you, oh, this is a fake 50, this is a fake 100, this is a fake. God is exposing that counterfeit in this season. Okay? And with that exposure, God's glory cloud is going to make the decision at this point. Because let me tell you something that I've always seen. In a season that you're about to shift, he shows you where the counterfeits are, what they were doing, and he exposes their plots, plans, and their schemes. Everybody that was lying, that was sitting in front of your face, he exposes it. Why? Because he's about to move you. But when God says move, you got to move. Whether it be here or whether it be with your feet, you got to keep moving. All right? In order to operate under the glory cloud, you have to do what he says when he says it, and you have to move when he says move. If that means putting your hands to the plow and putting your hands on what it is that God said, whether it be writing the instructions, making them plain, putting them on the altar, allotting that thing to be set forth, going and getting the bank account, setting forth to make sure that your debts are paid so that when you try to get that business bank account, but I don't have no money. Some of y'all are dealing with a spirit of false evidence appearing real because God has told you you're going to be a wealth carrier. You shall lend and not borrow. Your blessings of the Lord shall make it rich and addeth no sorrow. But you're looking at a zero balance bank account, and some of y'all don't even have one. But blessed be to God that God's going to give it to you. When God wanted me to have money in the season that I didn't have any, you know that he delivered me a bank card with the money on it that he wanted me to have in that season. The first thing I did was sow my seed. That was anticlimactic. Something fell. Maybe that's your enemies. Anyway, yeah. You're going to receive what it is that you need to receive. But when that thing comes, there may be a need for a movement because now the enemy is pissed that you received what you were supposed to receive. And there may be either you received the sudden attack before or you're going to receive it after. Some of you may not receive the attack because God has staunched the ability for the enemy to attack you in this season. Why? Because it's time for you to move into your promised land and now you are to shift. But when God says shift, you need to shift when he says shift and not drag your feet, so on and so forth. Or else he's going to have to pull I've seen it happen in a multitude of seasons where he has said, oh, I told you to move, you didn't move. Now I'm going to have everybody around you and everything in your atmosphere start acting up. Because I already told you to move. You knew where to go. You knew what to do. He won't move you. He won't even shake you up too bad. He'll just keep putting, I need you to go to here. I need you to do this. I need you to. But usually when he's ready for you to do that, he's going to provide for you the money to do it. When I needed to go to New York, he gave me the money the day that I was supposed to leave. When I made the decision that I was receiving the fact that God was saying that I was to go, and he said, all right, the money ended up in my hand. Okay? If he's telling you to leave, he will make the way for you to do it. He makes streams in the desert and paths in the wilderness. He will give you the pathway. But you can't operate in the fact, I ain't got no way. Do all that you can do until you can't do no more. Then you look at God and say, well, I done did it. I'm putting this on your altar. What you want me to do now? Ask me how I know. You work that plan until you have no more room to work it. And then you come to God and say, I done did everything that I know to do. What else I got to do? Sometimes he'll say rest. Sometimes he'll say, put that plan down for right now. I'm going to come back with some more instructions on that a little bit later. Just leave that right there. I need you to prepare something else in this season. I need you to praise and worship me in this season. Now that I've given you the plan, I need you to just praise and worship me since that. After that, I need you to celebrate the victory of what you have gotten. But there will also be enemies that will attempt to bring forth counterfeit blessings in that time and in that time frame in order to trip you up, because you're in an excited place and the enemy sees you're excited, so he's going to try to bring in a maneuver. What have I always said about when the enemy tries to bring this maneuver? You can close that door before it opens. How do you close it, y'all? You say what? What the enemy meant for evil, and you close every door, therefore stating this door, as according to Isaiah 22:22, is shut that it cannot be opened, whatever that door is, and you keep shutting all the doors. And then for the door that you need to be open, as God shall turn it to my good, God opens this door, this door, this door, this door, and this door. You don't have to see that counterfeit problem. It's only when you're in the wrong place will you see that counterfeit problem. God says stay in, you went out. God said go out, you stayed in. God said I need you to leave this place, and you stayed. And now you have to rush to get out of there because now there's an attack from the person or situation because you were supposed to have been moved. God said, I'm telling you to move. I know you don't know how. Abraham, go to a place in which I will show you. But you didn't show me where I'm going. Go to a place that I will show you. And some of you guys already shown you. I remember the night that I left to go to New York. A leader of mine, I wrote her an email. She came on live that night and said, God already done told you what to do. You just got to do it. Next day, the money came into my hand. I was out. Some of you are afraid because you don't see it, but it's in your movement that the answer will come. The healing comes as you move. What did it say in the scripture? The lepers were healed as they went forth, right? As they moved, they were healed. The other scripture, I believe is it 8:48 that says, you have done well, daughter. You have done well, daughter. Go forth, you have been healed, or something like that. We already spoke about don't take anything that's in close resemblance, because the enemy, that only comes up. Why? You was in the wrong place. Keep your eyes open and your ears open, okay? Because the glory cloud is coming. You need to be able to shift when it shifts, however that looks. For some of you, a sudden movement, a sudden moment, a sudden opportunity is going to place itself in front of you suddenly. Shift. Get ready to shift. Are you ready? Are you ready? A lot of y'all been saying, oh, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. How T.D. Jakes say it? Ready, 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 ready. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Are you ready? Because your moment is coming. God is going to no longer hold up. There's a scripture in the Bible that literally talks about, I have already told you that these things were going to suddenly happen. Are you ready for the suddenly that is about to happen? In an instant, in the blink of an eye, it's about to happen. Will you be ready to shift? Will you be ready to move? Some of you need to pray and have been praying about. I was looking at a video by a pastor yesterday. It keep popping up on my timeline. It was something I had looked at like 3 years ago, and it literally was talking about the fact of pray to be prepared for the thing that you said that you are ready for. Meaning, are you prepared? I was listening to Sunray Speaks the other day, and she was making a point of when God told her she was going to have to leave, he told her 2 weeks ahead of time, and she was to prepare, get things in order, get things. She knew which day she was supposed to leave, so she was ready to leave that day. Everything was ready to go. It was still a little bit of a hectic situation because of what was going to happen. But something happened, and she was ready to, all she had to do was take her stuff out to the car. If your blessing came to you right now and said, let's go. If your husband came to you right now and said, let's go. Are you ready? Is your bags packed? You got the information that you need in the case that, are you good? Are you good? Oh, okay. Because when the glory cloud comes, you want to be in the right place. Don't be all over the place. Do what God said. Do. And be able and ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? All right. Let's go.